executive members of BMS, senior leaders of BMS, senior leaders representing central trade unions from different central trade unions, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for giving me and my colleague Magnus to be part of our triannual conference today. On behalf of the ILO Director General, let me congratulate BMS for its triennial All India Conference. We understand you put a very important theme for this triennial conference: contented workers, prosperous India. We think that this is commendable and also highly relevant for the economic social development today. We appreciate the fact that India is moving ahead with a lot of vibrant economic development activities and programs, and India at the moment is one of the brightest spots in the world, shining through with its economic progress. We recognize that such a progress is not meaningful unless people are content, unless workers are protected. In that sense, the theme of your triennial conference is highly relevant. I'm sure you know that the central mandate of the ILO as a tripartite organization working closely with government, trade unions and employers is to promote social justice. And trade unions are the champions of social justice here in India, but also in many different countries all over the world. Trade unions are key players of every civil society. Trade unions are the root of democracy in all countries. In this sense, organizations through trade unions and unionizations of trade unions are very important to advance democracy in any society. We recognize that the world of work is changing very fast. I'm sure you are fully aware that the global economy as it is today has many challenges. And one of the biggest challenges of the global community today is that the jobs are not sufficiently created. And we know that in the global market, every year, to create new jobs for 40 million new people, young people who enter the labor market is a big challenge. And the same challenge is also recognized here in India. Equally important, the ILO produced the global reports on world employment and social outlook trends of 2017. And two key findings that are very important. First, there is a disconnect between growth and employment. Second, unemployment is rising all over the world. These two challenges clearly is important for all of us, member states of the ILO, trade unions, employers, and also the ILO itself. Therefore, it's very important to look into, as a way forward, how we are going to face many of challenges together. We recognize that youth employment, women employment, increasing informality, lack of social protection, exploiting of workers in the value chains, all of these are today posing many challenges. to all of us. At the same time, we also see that there are growing sector and the lack of protection of those workers in the sector like domestic workers, migrant workers. I think they are nowadays everywhere, and their working conditions is really very under protected. So clearly, putting together all of these challenges, we need to really work together with all the unions, with all the employers, with all the governments to really find a way to overcome these challenges. Otherwise, we will not be in the situation to really reach what our goal is about. This is about social justice. Now, I must say that with many of these challenges, the Indian trade union movement have been working very hard to adapt to the changes. I think your efforts to mobilize workers in the informal economy is commendable. BMS, also along with many other central trade unions in India, have recorded increased memberships of trade unions, and a lot of these increase of memberships come from those workers in the informal economy. This is significant. You should be proud of this success. We are very proud of you. We also recognize that trade union solidarity is very important, not only at the country level, but also across the board. And we recognize the efforts of trade union leaders in the BRICS countries, like Brazil, China, India, Russia, and South Africa, who have come together under the BRIC countries forum to work together and bring the voices of trade unions to the leaders of the BRIC countries. I think more of this can be done. There are global platforms that trade unions can come together and make their voices heard. So, coming from the perspective of the ILO, going forward, the ILO will become 100 years old in 2019. It means that we as an institution of tripartite, government, employers, and workers, we really have to work together for the coming years. At the time that the ILO reached 100 years, we call it centenary. Clearly, there have been many success of the organization during these 100 years, but at the same time, we recognize that going forward, there are new challenges, and we have to work together to overcome the new challenges. The ILO strategic vision for 2018 to 2021, or we call it ILO 2021, will continue to focus on the most vulnerable groups of workers, the most vulnerable people, and also will reinforce the ILO mandates around normative or international labor standards. I'd like to share with you a few initiatives around the ILO centenary. First, the future of work. As I mentioned that the world of work is changing. What the future of work is going to look like? What the future of work we want to look like? We need serious thinking process. We need to learn from the past in order to shape the future. But the future is in our hands. Governments, employers, trade unions, and the ILO. We have to shape the future of work together. The next I'd like to mention is the End of Poverty initiative. We recognize that today, while the economy is progressing, we still have pretty large number of poor people and the working poor. And certainly in the context of South Asia and India is included, working poor, we have to be working very hard to make sure that we can reduce the number of people in poverty fast in the next coming years. And in this context, I'm sure you are familiar of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDG agenda of 2030. And reducing and eradicating poverty is central to that. And the ILO is very committed to work to achieve that, particularly goal number 8, which is about decent work and economic growth. So we have this opportunity to work together. The next one that I'd like to mention briefly is Women at Work initiative. I'm very pleased to note that we have pretty large number of women delegates in the room today. This is really I think this is really significant. I'd like to thank BMS also to make sure that women leadership is part of the BMS leadership. So in this context, again, inequality in the world of work, equality between men and women in the world of work, I think is the central issue as we go forward in the future. But again, we have opportunity to work together and advance women at work to ensure greater equality, greater opportunity for women everywhere. In the context of India, it is a privilege for me and my colleagues sitting at the ILO office in New Delhi that we have been working together very closely with trade unions, with employers, and with the government. And within our Decent Work Country program, we have great collaboration. And we look forward to continue this great collaboration that we have built. And the Decent Work Country program for the next period, for 2018 to 2021, is now being prepared. And we count on your support and your input to make sure that we have a program